Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger comic book review. We were talking about Dawkins, Dark Wolverine number 8. And basically...
Versus X-23.
Yeah, she's versing X-23. And basically, there was a good fight, a good little banter between Gambit and Dawkins also, which kind of was creepy, but at the same time funny. But basically, they end up taking X-23 to experiment on, and they leave you off with the next issue being in X-23.
Gambit was hit.
My one problem is the cover of the next X-23, they make Dawkins look really retarded. So I'm praying that there's a variant or something. I'll be willing to spend the extra money to not get this cover. I am willing to spend extra money not to get this cover. So Marvel, if you don't have something extra lined up for X-23, for the love of God, please do. For one issue. The next one, because that issue looks shitty as hell. So I'm enjoying Collision. I'm looking forward to the next issue. It's actually rehashing my interest in X-23. So if you're interested, check it out.
See, I like X-23 and I have not given up on it. Oh, no,
Excuse you. The artwork inside is really amazing, actually.
Yes, and?
And there, the artwork changed. The artwork changed, and that's when I started liking it. But before, yeah, whatever to you two. The Amazing Spider-Man 658. The cover is amazing. I don't know why I didn't buy 2, because I really did want to buy 2, but due to budget and everything else and all the old comics I just bought, yeah, I decided on 1. In this issue, basically, Spidey, this is after Spidey joins FF. There's a flare for FF, basically, that's how they call Spidey, I guess. And him and Carly were going to spend their first night, official night, together, sleeping in the same apartment. And Carly gets called off on a case, and Pete gets called off to work with the FF. So he uses a cover that Horizon is sending him away on a business trip. And he's with the FF. And the one thing that kind of pisses me off is the inconsistency a little bit. Kind of just a little bit. In FF number 1, Spidey was awesome. You know, he loved the costume, and he really got into it. Then in Amazing Spider-Man, which this comic, obviously, this issue, not the issue before this, but this issue takes place after the first issue of FF. You have Spidey coming in with this costume. And basically, I agree with what Sue and Ben were saying. Basically, they're like, we retired the colors and the number. And then Mr. Fantastic says, you left your suit here last time. So apparently, between FF number 1 and this issue, Spidey left the suit that he thought in FF was awesome and wanted to wear the number 4 shirt, or suit, so to speak. And then basically he's complaining, I look like the Anti-Venom. And you know, since he said that, I started thinking of the Anti-Venom, sort of. He does have the Spidey symbol of the Anti-Venom, but at the same time, I think this costume does not say Anti-Venom. The cover, it looks awesome. I like the suit. I don't know why Spidey would even complain about the suit. So basically they go off to France, and they go off to the Microverse, and then they go off into the future. They have to close these, or fix up these portals before the world basically ends. It's like a world-threatening kind of thing, and I love what he said. He said it over here. We's like, wow, never anything small with you guys. Seal all 3, that's a visual one right here on Earth. We've detected 3 rifts in the space-time continuum, so they have to close the rifts off, or else Earth as we know it is gone. And Spidey's like, damn, you guys really go crazy. And there was a funny moment with Sue and Spidey with a mime. You're going to have to just get the issue to know what I'm talking about. And basically in the very end, Carly goes to Horizon Labs with a box that she wanted to give Pete, and basically the receptionist says, and she wants to give it to him for when he comes back on his business trip. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, but he wasn't on a business trip, didn't you? Are you sure you heard him right? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure. And that's where they leave you off. And then there's a side story with the Amazing Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. The artwork for this was also awesome.
Oh, how's Pete gonna explain this one?
Basically a few issues from now, that's the whole point. He's in the FF. He's on... They actually said it in a advertisement. Peter Parker is working for Horizon Labs. He's on 2 Avenger teams, and he's with the FF now. So when does he have time for his personal life? Question mark. That's where I guess the Carly thing is going to happen, where she confronts him and says, where really were you? And the next cover actually has a poster, which I didn't get, but it wasn't really that good anyway. But the Spidey Ghost Rider is to be continued. I really didn't look too much into it. It was like a side story. I only looked through the main story for right now. If I ever get the chance, I'm absolutely going to get this cover. The story is great. Amazing Spider-Man since Big Time has been amazing. And the FF, the joining of the FF just makes Spidey that much cooler. Marvel's actually trying to bring Spidey back up. That's my opinion and why they have him in all these teams now. Moving now into DC Comics, The Flash number 10, 2 issues to go. Where this is the Flashpoint prequel. They're on the road to Flashpoint, and basically this Barry Allen from an alternate universe, an alternate Earth, is looking for the culprits that are going to change time. And Barry offers to help the alternate Barry, but the alternate Barry says basically, no, thank you, I'll do it myself. And he basically rides off. That's basically the whole issue. And Barry and Bart have a little moment where Bart's like, you don't want any help, you're no better than the other Barry that just left and doesn't want help. And he zooms off, and that's basically the whole issue. Yeah. Flash is definitely winding down after having a great run. The 10th issue, I could see already, I could feel the series just ending. It is going to end, because you can, this issue definitely makes you feel that, because it's all talking. Really, it poses more questions than answers, and basically there's somebody else they find that's been aged. He basically has been, he was a kid and he was aged, but then in the very end, they find a kid, and Barry says, that's not just a kid, that's a witness, to be continued. So we'll see where the last two Flash issues go. I believe the last issue of Flash goes into Flashpoint. Okay, moving into something that's a little confusing. Judgment on Gotham, Red Robin 22. I believe I missed the first part of the Judgment of Gotham because it kind of throws you in the middle. Unless they don't give you a beginning. I'm not sure. Maybe I missed an issue. I believe it might have started in Azrael. But anyway.
Maybe the next issue is literally going to backtrack.
No, next week there are 2 issues. There's Gotham Sirens and Batman. And those 2 are part of this. They both
I'm saying
go together.
maybe they backtrack and show you what happened in the beginning.
Possibly, or I missed the issue. It's quite possible I missed the issue. So anyway, Red Robin is doing these tests to prove that he's worthy. And he passes all the tests in the end. And then basically... I forgot what this guy's name is. Shit if I know. I'll show you a picture of him. Where is he? Oh, he calls himself Crusader. Yeah, this is his name. This is who we're talking about here. So basically, Crusader throws him somewhere into a church, and when Azrael strikes him, and it turns out the sword doesn't hurt him, it means he's a man without sin. But then Crusader shows up and said, well, when he went into the church, he didn't bow. He didn't bow down before God, and then he says he's not a believer, and then Azrael says, is this true? And he says, yes, it's true, and he says, you have failed the test, and basically Gotham is doomed to be continued in Gotham City Sirens and Batman, and next month is a possible death in the Batman family, with a question mark. Really good issue, awesome artwork, as always. This issue, the artwork in Red Robin, I've never complained about the artwork in Red Robin. I'm trying to find a good picture to show. Like, see? The artwork is astounding, as always. So, I'm definitely getting Gotham Sirens and Batman to conclude this. If I missed an issue, please let me know, but I believe I did. I believe it started in Azrael. But I'm not getting Azrael, so screw it. I don't care. I missed the first part. I basically got caught up here anyway. It's just there are little
inconsistencies.
Yeah, little blank spots that I have no idea. But oh well. So Red Robin's still amazing and still something to pick up. Booster Gold 43. Turns out Rip's plan finally is found out. The reason he sent Booster to jail is to have him meet up with his future self. Hold on.
His future self is in jail?
His future self who has a plague. Where he has like time vortexes, and then basically at the end of the last issue he's at the end of time. I showed that picture, and it turns out he gets zapped into the future where the Legion is, the Legion of Superheroes, so to speak. And the Legion of Superheroes basically beat the shit out of Booster Gold, and Brainy finally tells them that Brainiac 5 that he's really a hero. You shouldn't have done that. Da 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 da. And basically, he, in the end, cures Booster Gold after a lot of agonizing tests and agonizing recovery. And in the end, basically, he claims that Rip says that they're going to become really good friends in the future. So I'm guessing that Booster Gold at some point might join the Legion, not as in the Legion comics, but he might join them as in like a crossover kind of thing. And in the very end, you see the girl that he has as one of the lost children in the future. So that actually might be the future meeting that they're talking about. And then it says next is Flashpoint, and this is the next issue. Dan Jurgens' artwork returns. I'm so excited for that. So Dan Jurgens joins back with his baby, and we all are very happy. Okay, moving into the last two comics of this week, which are both Superman related. Superman 710. We're still on Grounded. I still do not like Grounded. Do not get me wrong, as I'm...
That's Superman and Batman.
It's Superman, the title, and underneath it says, and Batman, because Bruce Wayne, Batman, guest stars in this episode of Grounded. Now, as I was saying, I do not like Grounded, so do not get me wrong as I'm reviewing this comic. Okay? Okay. I hate Grounded, but this issue was good. It's Superman meets up with Batman, and they reminisce about a time in the past where they first met for the first time ever. This is before Superman. This is before Batman. This is before anything. Basically, they have to protect this woman. Her name is Terry, who she's being threatened by an army that they want safe passage into what's it called? I forget the name of the place. Of the shifting city, so to speak. And basically, Clark and Bruce protect the people there and basically ward off the army. I love this picture. The artwork isn't amazing, but it's like, see, when they were ready to attack, I love how he takes off his glasses to protect his identity, and Batman has like that sheath mask over him so you can't tell who he really is. And in the end, they won. And Batman gives Superman, once again, just like the Flash, a pep talk. But he disagrees with the Flash. He's like, it doesn't get easier over time. You just learn how to cope with it. Now, Batman's advice is the advice I agree with over Flash's. You don't ever get over a death. You learn how to cope with the loss. And basically it leaves you off with Superman and Batman going their separate ways to be continued. That's true. It's true. It's very true. You never get over a death, and it doesn't get easier. You just learn how to cope with it, which makes it easier.
Yeah.
So, this issue was good. I can't wait for Grounded to be over because I think it's a shit story. And Straczynski is still here, but he had to back out of this at some point because he's doing Earth 2 Superman sequel or whatnot. And I don't know. I don't agree with Grounded, and a lot of people don't like what he did with Wonder Woman, so after Grounded, hopefully he'll go back to Metropolis and just do what he does best, being Clark Kent and Superman. That's just my opinion. You know, all my reviews are my opinion. Like I said, you guys don't have to agree with me. Once again, it's just how I feel about a specific series. But like last week with Swamp Thing, I got a few people that agree with me, and I got a few people that disagree with me. A few people were talking about the Alan Moore run on Swamp Thing, and I understand it was good for some people. A lot of people like Alan Moore. I like Alan Moore. I've collected some of his work. I didn't collect Swamp Thing per se, but I collected some of his other work. I looked up Swamp Thing. And I don't understand how people... One person said that Swamp Thing is something you can't find anywhere. He's, no, leave it. He's a, he's a real popular character. I went on Midtown, and his comics sell for like $1. And these are his old beginning comics. Usually, if a series is really good or popular, the comics are more expensive. And the most expensive comic I saw was $3. So... I understand where you guys are coming from, where you say, okay, Swamp Thing is cool and all, but as far as statistics show, Swamp Thing was not that popular, which is why his series kind of is very cheap to buy and kind of died out. Now, I understand Alan Moore is an amazing person, and I'm absolutely sure he did his best work. He did great work with Swamp Thing. But for people like me that, when I was a kid, I watched the movies. I saw both Swamp Thing movies. I loved the first Swamp Thing movie, even though nobody liked it. I thought it was cool. And I liked the second. It got boring the second a little bit. The first one was a little bit better in my opinion, but that's my opinion once again. But the fact is, I remember back to that movie, and I remember the TV series, because Lord knows I bumped into the TV series once or twice. And I don't see Superman with that, though. And I don't see DC Comic Heroes with that. Can it be acclimated into the DC Universe and into, you know, the superheroes? Yes. Does it work? Only time will tell. I'll be honest, time is the best teller of all tales. But in my opinion, now my shock has really worn off. But to be honest, I still stand by what I said, but I'm keeping an open mind to the possibilities in the future with Swamp Thing and with the DC Universe. I just think that, first of all, Flashpoint is ridiculous. It's going to change the entire universe again. But beside the point, the whole Swamp Thing idea kind of, So anyway, moving into the last comic book of this week. Superboy number 6 versus Doomsday. Taking a swig here. I see what you're doing. Anyway, briefly, basically what happens to Superboy is what happened to Cyborg, Superman, Steel, Supergirl, and Eradicator. Doomsday beats the crap out of him, steals his powers, his telekinetic powers, and then runs away. Now, somebody mentioned that this Doomsday might be a part of Flashpoint. I wouldn't be too surprised, actually, because in the very end, after Doomsday takes Superboy away, they show him entering a ship, and this is the last panel of the issue. And it's all to be rounded off in Action Comics 900, 901, etc., etc. So basically, next month, Superboy goes back to his series, and basically all the Dark Reign, sorry, and I'll finish. I'll get to you in a second. And all the Reign of Doomsday now is all going into Action Comics 900. So all the issues like Superboy and Superman, Batman, and JLA are all going back to their main stories, whereas this is all concluding and continuing in Action. Now, yes.
Has Superman faced Doomsday?
Not yet. That's Action 900. This isn't this world's Doomsday. It has to be another universe's Doomsday.
When is 900?
2 weeks.
So does that
Not
mean
this week,
like,
not next week's Punch, the following.
Does that mean in like 2 weeks that Superman's going to be back to
Action. Only in Action. Grounded, see, I'm glad you said that. Grounded is not being canceled. Grounded will still be going on in Superman, but in Action, it'll be a completely different story. Basically, Grounded has no ramifications, I pray, on Action Comics. So Action Comics will continue along on its own story.
Action should affect the story. Make him fly again. Make him go back
To Metropolis?
Yeah.
Agreed. So, Superboy gets the ship beaten out of him, like I said, and he gets carted off into a spaceship. So
Wow.
we'll see where this all rounds off in Action 900. Looking forward to that. What, Mike?
Isn't there a comic book behind you?
Yeah, I got Amber X-Men Legacies, but she's the comic is kind of in the middle
lost.
of something,
There's
so she's
a
completely
story
lost.
arc in this that I have no clue about, so I'd have to get the back issues to be able to.
Well, you're a Generation X fan, and your guy is on the cover.
Yes, I know Chambers on the cover, but the fact is, until I get the backstories, I can't review this.
I got her into X-Men, the side titles, but
Actually, the person that gave you the comics
yeah,
got me into
and
it.
Alpha Flight.
I haven't actually gotten into it yet. I've still yet to read it.
Oh.
But the Generation X, I read all of them in like 4 days, and I had
Yeah, you're
almost,
missing a few.
There were 7 comics missing out of 75, and I read all of those in like 4
Well,
days.
I got one. I got one in my haul. So you're only missing 6.
You have to give it to me so I can figure out.
You can have it.
it.
You can have it. And I'm going to give you the Avengers one too, because it turns out Midtown didn't send me the 75 because they didn't have it in that grading, so I have to get a higher grading one. And I have the Fantastic Four ones also. You're not really missing that many, because I have about 4.
I'm missing 7 out of 75.
Yeah, but I have about 4, so you need 3 more, plus you need 46 and back.
Oh, Alpha Flight.